Yeah, there's gone live.
Thank you, Gavin Cohen. Yes, we're live, all right. We're live for the first Good for the Game pre-match betting analysis. We're looking at the Crusaders against the Lions. They're taking place in Christchurch in about 25 minutes' time. So this is the most active time for betting markets. It's a time where you want real analysis, not necessarily trying to speculate whether this is a competition or not, but perhaps looking at markets like the handicaps and total points. Well, joining me in this broadcast, I've got two men who need no introduction to South African sports betting. He's the face, he's the man behind oraclerugby.com. Gavin Cohen joining us from Durban. How are you, Gavin?
I'm good, thank you, Brent. Not too bad. How are you doing?
Very, very well, thanks, man. We're going to get back to you in just a couple of secs with your thoughts on where your money's going, although I suspect the majority of people out there watching know exactly where your money's going today. But a guy that I've been corresponding with for something probably around a decade without actually meeting him, and Hendrik Swart, I guess you'd say this is the first time that we're actually coming face-to-face. And yet we're, what, 1,400 Ks apart? You're down in Cape Town?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen, we chat face-to-face. But yeah, like you say, we've been corresponding over your website and over WhatsApp and all the stuff for about 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, we'll get back to Hendrik now. He's known for his total points players. I'm probably going to lead him into his bets without knowing exactly what they are because I kind of know where he likes to go in games like this. But let's start off with Gavin there. Gav, your YouTube broadcast, you went for quite an aggressive play on the Lions handicap. The handicap opened at 15.5. It shifted to 17.5, where it seems to have stabilized. And my question for you is, you went 5 units at plus 10.5. Is that a patriotic punt, or is that a well-thought-out punt?
Good morning, Brent. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Hendrik. Look, yeah, I'm just going with what's working. If you've been following me for, following what I've been doing for a few weeks now, I'm trying to stay away from the 9 to 10s simply because I wasn't getting that much ahead when it came to actual return on investment. So I started to look at the games. I looked at a bit of the history of my strategies over time and realized that when I was beating the handicap, I wasn't beating it by 1 or 2 points. In some games, I was beating it by as much as 15 or 16. So what I decided to do is to start looking for something between sort of 12 to 10 and 3 to 1. The 3 to 1 plays weren't generating me anything. I was getting one sort of every 3 or 4, and if anything, was breaking even. So I started to look at where I was missing, and I found that between sort of 6 points and 10 points is where I was finding it. And for the last 2 weeks, I've backed the Lions at 7 points more than, 7 points more than the 9 to 10 handicap at, from what I could work out mathematically, being about a 9-point margin. So again, I was getting 2 to 1 of 7 points, and I believe that 2 to 1 it should be around about 9 points. Again, that's just me, and found a bit of value. So yeah, this week I've taken plus 10.5. The other thing for me is that I honestly think this will be a single-digit win here for the Crusaders. I mean, I'm hoping the Lions win the actual match. Obviously, being a supporter and for South Africa and for the Rugby Championship that's coming up, I think it'll be a big result for everybody. But yeah, from this particular game's point of view, I do expect the Crusaders to win. I'm not expecting the Lions to win, although I do think it'll be close. And the other side of this is, if you're looking for a 2 to 1 or a 5 to 2 play, and you're a Crusaders punter, I also wouldn't be looking at the 17s and 15s. I'd be looking at a minus 22 or minus 24 or something like that. And because for me, this game could blow out. Crusaders could win this game by 40, or they could win it by 2. I just honestly don't think it's going to be between 10 and 20. I really don't. I think it's going to go one way or the other. And for the value, yeah, just under 2 to 1, I managed to get for the plus 10.5. Yeah, good enough for me. I'm happy.
Right. Well, my money firmly on the Crusaders this morning. I just like the way they play finals rugby. I think they're a cut above the rest. And someone who's very much in agreement with me, Hendrik Swart. Hendrik, the handicap hasn't moved much, but what I have noticed, I've been looking at some of the overseas books, looking at some of the local books, and there's definitely some patriotic money for the Lions. And I guess that makes someone like you happy, because the more patriotic money comes for the Lions, the bigger price you're getting on your Crusaders.
Yes, I actually went in early in the week. And I hoped that it would go out, and maybe I can take a bit of cover because I went bigger than I should bet it. So that didn't happen. But yeah, I've got minus 15 and minus 17 on the Crusaders, and I'm happy with that.
Well, I must say, if I was as big as you in on this game, I'd also be sitting at a pub at about 9 o'clock in the morning, just in case things went horribly wrong. I wonder if Gavin's got a few drinks waiting for him as well. Henrik, we'll stay with you then. Let's talk a little bit about the total points lines. Sunbet were first out this week, 49.5 points. My immediate thought was unders. Fortunately, I didn't move because the points line keeps on going up, and it seems to have stabilized at 53.5, 54.5. On the good for the game forum, most of our shrewdies, if I can call them that, are unders. They say it's a final, and I was looking at some stats. 2009 was probably the last time you would have beaten this in a final, somewhere around there. So are you an unders player today?
Yes, normally I prefer the unders. And when I saw the 49.5, 50 for Sunbet, I immediately thought that's great because I expected it to be 45.5. So I was happy with the 50.5, but then luckily I waited and I got some under 55.5 yesterday. I see it settled around 53.5, 54.5. And like you, I also checked the stats. The last 12 finals, only 2 games have gone over 49 points. So the stats say it should go under.
And that, Gavin, I don't know if you one who bets much outside of the handicaps and match results, but have a look at another market. You've got under 7.5 tries trading at 13 to 20. Now, I'm heavily involved in the handicaps. I'm seriously not sure if I should be plowing into 13 to 20 shots. But if I was a big hitter, I'd be going for that. And there's also under 6.5 tries at 11 to 10. Is that a market that would interest you, or are you firmly focused on the handicaps here?
No, Brent. No, I do get involved in lots of other different bets. Mostly handicaps. I do have the odd points bet, but again, when it comes to points, what turns me away or what puts me off a little bit is they're all priced up at 17 to 20 or 8 to 10, and to beat that at 9 to 10, you've got to get 526 out of 1,000 or 52.6 out of 100 to break even. At 0.85 or 0.8, you're looking at closer to 600. So it's a lot harder to make money on that. You've got to be right more often, and you've got to be very right more often. And again, my advice to anyone taking a points bet is a lot of these firms offer alternative points as well. So when you look at that tries bet, you think it's going to be under 7.5 tries. You're taking 0.65 at 6.5. You're almost getting double your money for one more try. And those are often traded in running as well. So you go lower or you go under 6.5 tries at 11 or 10. It's very possible for you at halftime after just one try or 2 tries or no tries, you can now buy 4.5 tries or buy 5.5 tries and lock in that little bit of a margin. It's difficult. But yes, I do. In fact, when it comes to tries, I prefer the match bet. I like that. That I've had quite often. So especially when I've gone for an underdog or a +10 team or a +5 team, often getting 12 to 10 or 14 to 10 that they win the try bet. And I remember one of the comments that Henrik made to me last year when the Chiefs played the Hurricanes. The Chiefs had beaten the Hurricanes on the scoreboard. Sorry, I can't remember the actual match. And I still said, geez, it felt like I'd won. And I lost my bet on the game and on the handicap, but my team scored more tries, and I just felt like it was better. So yes, it's also motivating as a punter. You want to see more tries or less tries if you've gone under, and you want your team to win that match bet. So yeah, that's another alternative market that I definitely look at. From a spreads point of view, I'm like you. I'm a shirt numbers punter from time to time, not as regular as you. Total points on the spread is also not a bad idea. You can also have try spread bets. Some of these firms offer that as well. So going under 6.5 tries, the problem with a fixed bet is that you only getting the 1.1 or the 12 to 10 or whatever it is. But if there's no tries, you're still getting the same price. Whereas with a spread bet, you can actually make money if there's only 2 tries or 3 tries or 1 try or no tries.
Well, congratulations, Gavin. I think you've covered every aspect of betting in about 3 minutes there. I think anybody new to punting is absolutely scratching their head. Gents, I want to end it there because I want to get this out on Twitter before the end. Let's just finalize our best bets. Henrik, starting with you, where are you for your best bet on this game?
Okay, the minus 15.5 Crusaders is my best bet. But then I also took the under 55.5, and then one other bet I took is for them not to be a try before 11 minutes and 30 seconds at 11 to 10, which I think is also a nice bet for a final. I know the Lions have to come out firing, but I think the Crusaders defense will hold. So that but my best bet minus 15.5 Crusaders.
Gavin, before you give your best bet, just to tell everyone who is watching now and out there on social media, Gavin and I will be back probably about 2 minutes after the halftime break just to talk about his bets. The Crusaders are leading by 30 minutes. It might be a solo performance by me. I'm not too sure if you're going to bring yourself onto the camera, but you will be back. But very quickly, Gav, what's your best bet? Are you sticking with your handicap play?
Yes, Brent, I'm sticking with it. I don't think you're going to get plus 18 anymore. For the conservative guys, I'm going opposite to Henrik here. I do believe that for me, as I said earlier, a plus here, a lower plus if better. I don't know if I'd be taking plus 6 or plus 5 if, for a big price. Plus 10 is good enough for me. Even a plus 12 at sort of 15 to 10 or 16 to 10. That's what I'm advising. I'm on the plus 10.5 at 19 to 10. I'm happy with that. And thank you.
Right, well, I'm all over the minus 15.5 from early in the week. I may even take a little bit of cover there because I really want to have a points bet. I want to go under 54.5 and under 17.5 Lions points. I do feel if they do fall behind, they're obviously going to keep going for the tries. And if you look at the Crusaders' defensive record, it is out of this world. Well, that's it for this particular show. We will tweet the link. So if you missed the start, you can watch it on social media quickly before the game. Join Gavin and myself at halftime, probably about 2 minutes after the break. It's hard to specify a specific time. We'll talk about that. And we'll also be back post-match for a quick betting analysis. Gents, thanks very much for joining us on this first ever live Good for the Game pre-match analysis. And, well, I can't really say I hope you both win because there's no ways that's going to happen. But I'm speaking to a very unhappy Gavin Cohen at halftime. See you later. Cheers, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.